If you're looking for a clean, sober, professional, academic,
well-researched, historically accurate, generally accurate, serious podcast
on Southern folklore, ghosts, bizarre events, and unique people,
this podcast is not for you.
However, if you've decided you can live with that,
then join us for The Strange South. Hey, Marleah.
Mine is half gone. Hey,
Is
Patrice. Hey, Courtney.
Hey, Courtney.
Hold on, I don't even have my headset on, people.
Come on.
I've been working.
You have.
I got the sample drink, so
that's
I've
right.
been just kind of going through slowly while everybody else has been doing other stuff.
Gosh, man. I mean, you can't go wrong in July with the margarita.
It's delish.
Actually, you can't really go wrong with the margarita any time of the year.
You can't.
I've had a bad margarita before, though.
Oh, yeah, you've had bad margaritas.
That's bad any time of the year.
That's bad whenever you have it, it's true. But Courtney doesn't make bad margaritas.
Courtney does not make bad margaritas.
I didn't even know I was making a margarita until I showed up here.
And
I wasn't sure what liquor I was going to use. I brought ingredients that I had already.
no, you can't go wrong with tequila.
It's like you're doing a game show, but all by yourself. It's like, this is my mystery box.
Here's my challenge.
Right.
What shall I do?
Choose your liquor.
I was just trying to decide because I squeezed a lot of lemons and limes yesterday.
nice.
So actually, this is lemon juice, not just lime juice. It's lemon and
That's
lime.
why it's so delicious.
Lemon. It's like a hybrid. It's just like the tiger lager.
It's a lime and
Drinking it like Gatorade, I tell you that much.
it kind of is the color of the green Gatorade. Light
It is.
yellow lemon lime Gatorade.
Mm,
Let me tell you what it is.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to tell you, besides like the taste of it is perfectly balanced, but the sugar salt rim.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Remember Salger?
Whoa.
That was the other thing I made. I said that one episode.
Lime and Salger.
It's lime and juice and Salger. So it's we named it. Hold on. Oreganorita.
Oreganorita.
Because
Oh my
it
God, that
is
sugar salt rim is amazing.
made with oregano simple syrup. So instead of my honey, which I usually make honey simple syrup for margaritas, but oregano from my garden into a simple syrup that I whipped up right before I came over, and the lime juice. And then I used the Patron triple sec, which is really good, actually.
Yes.
And then 1800. Oh, yeah. And then 3 dashes of orange bitters.
Well, you know what? It's the orange bitters that like give it that nice kind of after, you know, and I guess my palate has changed or something because I've like been very attuned. And it's like the oregano hits like right in the middle of the drink, which is like such a nice surprise. And then the bitters like,
I know last week you were all about that flavor, adding a gin to that drink.
You're practicing
The
for your review career now.
I know. I think I'm becoming like a cocktail snob.
Yeah, you can help me start balancing. That's what I did when I had the oregano syrup and the lemon and lime juice. I was like, okay, I was going to do a vodka drink with it, but I was like, I really don't know that that's going to go well. And when I realized to do a margarita and add that little bit of Cointreau or whatever, the Patron triple sec.
Yeah.
It's good.
Orange liqueur.
The orange liqueur, yeah, you get that in the after too. It just sits there in your mouth and it's just like,
I like it. I did double the amount. I would normally only do ½ ounce of simple syrup if I was going to put like a liqueur in it, but I did do 1 ounce so you could have the oregano flavor. So that gets it still not sweet though.
no, it's not. It's perfect. It is perfectly balanced.
Yay.
Yeah, it is. I don't like sweet Well, you know, I don't like sweet margaritas. That's like, that's a no-no for me. So this is perfect.
Yes. Cheers, y'all.
Cheers, Oreganorita.
Cheers.
Yum, yum.
Salger.
We need to like bottle that and sell.
Salger.
Have they done that already?
God, that'd be so easy.
Probably, but
Okay,
we
we've already, and while we've sat here, we've come up with like 3
Ideas.
ways to make hustle.
Yes.
Hustle money.
Hustle
we're trying
money.
to hustle.
We are hustling.
Yours was what? Ham and pineapple sausages. and, Salger. And I can't remember the
No,
third
that
one.
was bootlegging pineapple
Bootlegging.
sausages
That's
from
right.
Mississippi.
Mississippi sausage into Alabama.
You gotta do what you gotta do. to get that
I'll be
ham and
selling them
pineapple
out of my
sausage.
trunk, y'all. Come see me at the Walmart parking lot.
I trust you more than I trust those people selling like filet mignon out of a truck. Yes, or what was it? The dollar store's ribeye sale?
Yes. 2 for $5.
There's no telling what kind of meat that is.
God, rancid, I imagine, but I don't know. Maybe not. Who knows?
Well, I mean, you don't hear about people. You don't have people dying. You don't hear about them.
You don't hear about a lot of things.
You don't hear about This is true. This is so true.
What has this week been? Hopefully, you all in listening world have had a wonderful week.
Summer.
I went to the beach. It was like weird and unusual and spectacular, and I loved it. I went to the beach with a couple friends, and it was a blast. And the whole goal was to not worry about anything. And we didn't have children there. And that was spectacular.
That makes it easier.
That does.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when it's just girlfriends. You don't have.
Mm-hmm. And the guy who was working the check-in for the place we were staying, when we drove in, we hadn't even gotten, it was like the guy who was in the parking lot, telling you where to go. But when you first get there, and he was like, "Oh, where y'all from?" And we're like burning up. Like as soon as you roll down the windows, you're burning up because it's been heat index 118 or whatever. Mm-hmm. And we're like, "Oh," and he's like, "Where y'all from?" And we're like, "Oh, we're from Jacksonville, Alabama." He's like, "Oh, that's near Anniston." We're like, "Oh yeah," and he's like, "I used to go up to Anniston. I saw a UFO up there one time."
Oh my god!
And I was like, "You freaking kidding me?" And you know what? I never went back to ask because it was too goddamn hot outside.
Look, Sergeant, you're in the parking lot. I need to be on the water.
I was like, I should really probably call the place and say like, who was working that day so that I can.
Which one of these people saw the UFO in Anniston?
That is interesting. Oh, man. I have questions now.
I have questions.
Missed opportunity.
But I apologize.
I totally get it.
I just came clean.
I would not. I'd be just grunting in the heat and just
God, it was so hot.
Puddle of human flesh.
It was so hot. I mean, you couldn't even walk out the door. It was so hot.
Yeah.
And we don't even live in Texas or
Arizona. God bless them.
God bless them. They need to move.
It's like I shared with y'all Landon Talks, the Instagram of the guy from Laurel, Mississippi about the heat, about heat index.
Oh my God.
Let's just start out with actual hate is disrespectful.
This is being disrespectful.
You have to throw in our friend humidity. The weather forecaster says feels like we don't need to hear it.
It's like we don't need that extra negativity in our lives.
Something about, what did he say?
It's like where you can
wear the air. Wear the air.
That's legit.
Just say it's soup.
Just say it's human soup
outside.
Mm-hmm. Believe it.
That is how it's been. Not today. Today it's nice. We'll hope for good weather for everybody, but it's not looking great. Lord, we started going all apocalyptic with it on our trip. Of course, because I was with a biologist who reads a lot of news and knows a lot of things. And so she was like, I did research that our area is actually one of the areas that's going to be the safest from climate change, believe it or not, because of the way that, our environment is and our climate is right here. So I was like, oh, good. This is the first time something's happened that has made me not want to move lately.
Maybe real estate, or maybe our property values will go up.
If we just need to phrase things right on the realtor listing, like this beautiful gem, this vintage place in a subtropical environment in the United States.
Yes, close to a cave system for cooler luxury. I don't know.
Maybe what is the word for
you can tell
thermal cooling or whatever,
thermal cooling.
Yes.
Much wildlife.
Much wildlife. An array of insects.
Oh my God.
Just use entomology in there somewhere. Just I
don't even want to say the words. I've not been bitten by a mosquito.
Really?
One at the beach. Or I don't even think it was a mosquito. I think when I went to the beach a couple of weeks ago, it was like a sand
mouth. They're going to be like, what?
Lately, I haven't either, but you know why?
Because I'm not
damn it outside. I will not step outside, and that's really weird for me.
This is what I believe is that we had that 9-degree cold snap, and I think it killed a lot of stuff.
I don't think it did, because I was out in the springtime, before it got like this, and I was getting bit up like nobody's business. Because I remember specifically sitting out on my porch and thinking I had really hoped that they had all perished.
Okay. Well, maybe they just decided to vacation at your house.
They might.
So
a lot of them do.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen them. I've swatted one. I tell you one thing that I have been dealing. Actually, I've been dealing with this more than mosquitoes this year is ticks.
Oh.
I have pulled off like 3 ticks.
Shit.
I pulled a tick off me yesterday. I felt something crawling in my bra.
Oh my God.
And I like looked down because I thought it was a spider at first because that's how I roll. And I see this like this thing.
To see if there's one in there.
I know. I do that. And I saw this big black thing. I was like, okay, it's a spider. I'm not going to freak out. I'm just going to go in and grab it and remove it from my flesh. And then when I went and picked it up, I was like, oh, it's a fucking tick.
But it hadn't
baby.
It hadn't
latched on. It was just crawling, which is why I felt it.
You're the second person who's told me that this year, and I'm afraid because I just haven't even been looking. I'm like, God knows how much Lyme disease I've got now.
Well, I don't look. I feel them. And the other tick that did attach to me, when they attach, they start to itch, and you'll feel them eventually. Mm-hmm. So I've had to remove one that was attached, and then I had another one crawling on me. So I'm like looking at all my pets. I'm like, which motherfucker are you bringing in ticks that are riding on your fur and coming in? Because they're all like got the little things that like makes the ticks die.
Jump off or die.
Yeah.
They jump off on you.
Jump off on me.
Yeah. My little dog, I wouldn't even be able to tell if she had anything. She's got so much hair. She grows so fast.
Well, and usually like if they have that much hair, it takes like a tick's, like they have to work to get to the skin. So. But not me. And so, yeah. So watch out for ticks, y'all. It's real. And all the diseases that come with ticks is real. My grandmother had Lyme's disease. And I had a friend who went, okay, this is a weird story. And then we'll get to your story. I had a friend that was a person that did like the drawings of artifacts or whatever that they would uncover like in
like an archaeological dig?
Archaeological drawing person. Like they would go with like the archaeological students to like their dig sites over like in Egypt or something like that. And he would do this every summer. Like they'd always have a crew that would go to a site every summer. So he went with them and they were out exploring, which shouldn't have fucking been doing. But I mean, you got to live your life. So they explored a cave and they got fucking attacked by ticks.
What?
They got attacked by this tick or these ticks, and it gave them like some kind of weird like disease that almost killed them.
Damn, that's
like,
X-Files shit.
Yeah, it was like really bizarre. And he's and it's kind of like, now he's like immune system's all fucked up and all that stuff.
Damn.
From like kind of like Lyme's disease and stuff, but it was like something really serious from going in this cave over there and being like attacked by ticks.
Shit.
That's just horrifying to me. That's horrifying.
Oh, they're going to kill us every which way.
Oh my God. Yeah. Nature's out to get us and we deserve it.
Yes, we do.
All right. We got anything? You got anything, Courtney?
I was going to talk about canning. I'll talk about it on the B-side. I've been making lots of veggie delightful things.
We'll take a break and then we will have a story.
All right.
Do you want more Strange South every week? We can help. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and you can join our Facebook fan group, Fans of the Strange South Podcast, to keep the chat going with our whole creepy community. Do you have a story idea for us or a story of your own to share? Email us at stories@thestrangesouth.com. Plus, if you join our Patreon, you not only help support the podcast, you get free swag, extras, exclusives, and a discount on merch. You can find links to all these things on our website, thestrangesouth.com, along with photos, links, and show notes from every episode. Strange South t-shirts, mugs, stickers, and other goodies. See you there. So if you hit record now. Okay.
All right.
The red light's on.
The red light's on.
The red light's on.
We are back and recording.
We are back.
And
Let's
we
see.
said,
And we
keep
said.
it light
Yes, it's been a heavy couple weeks because we did some murder. We did some murder.
We didn't do murder.
Yeah.
Patrice has done some children. Patrice has done some child murders in the last couple of weeks.
I'm sorry, y'all. I went way down that rabbit hole, and
don't be sorry. It's interesting stuff. It's just that I think both of you had said at our last recording, like, okay, we're gonna have to move to something light. So I was like, okay, well, what do I have this light?
Sad.
And I have this list that I've collected over time. And a friend of mine who listens to the show, who lives down in Florida, had asked me about something that just happened to be coinciding or a good fit for this list. So I was like, okay, well, this is the way it's got to be. Like, this must be a sign that this is the time.
And that's the way to do it. Is like when y'all send in your suggestions, I mean, sometimes it's just like the stars align and it's like perfect.
So this week I'm doing the biggest softball ever, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, weird Southeastern festivals.
Yes.
Tater Melon Day.
And Tater Melon Day, which I swear to God was one of the things that started this list, and it's not on here. And I don't know where it disappeared to.
Well, first of all, what the fuck is a tater melon?
Tater Melon Day.
All I know is I went to the Jack Daniels distillery one time near my birthday. So probably in July one year. I know. Because I had the bottle engraved on my birthday.
That's right.
Nice.
You can get your bottles engraved there once you buy the bottle because they can't sell alcohol. Yeah, so it must have been July. So it should be going on right now. Tater Melon Day.
You need to look that up right now because I feel like I actually looked up Tater Melon one time and I couldn't find it. But yeah, there are all kinds of just these random weird little festivals. Some of them are bigger, some of them are small, some of them are like little towns. But, and a lot of them are as fundraisers for small towns.
And you did something when like the ham or the egg.
Yeah, the Ham and Egg Festival. I think that's what it was, the Ham and Egg Festival in South Georgia. And it was like it was a blues festival.
Right.
So I tried to make sure I'm going to start my countdown right now, actually. There are so many of these that I was like, I'm just going to hit a point and then just stop talking because I've got too much. I tried to make sure that in my first little round, I get one for each of our southern states, which is like 10 states that we tend to count. So if you're yelling at your phone or your car or your earbuds or whatever and saying like, why did you do this one instead of another one? I may have the other one still on the list. I may talk about it later. Or you could email us at thestrangesouthpodcast@gmail.com and tell me that this one, and tell me why you think it's, something I should cover. Is it weird? Is it unique? Whatever. And then we'll keep on, we can just keep on keeping a list.
Yeah, that sounds great. We'll put it on our website for sure.
And these are in no particular order. They are in the order in which I happen upon them, I guess.
Nice.
So... except in the one state at a time order. Because, man, Tennessee has a shitload of festivals that are odd. I've just got to throw that out there.
The cat cult festival?
No, there's no festival for the cat cult.
I want to start that one.
We should start our own festival. Okay, we'll brainstorm that in B-side.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
All right, did you find Tater Melon?
I found it, but I don't think they have it anymore. I can't find anything past 2017.
Oh, sad.
But they have... Tater Melon Day presents Little Miss Tater Tot Country Casual Pageant.
Oh, Country Casual.
Little Miss Tater Tot.
Does that mean that they shopped at the Cracker Barrel?
I'm ready to go to Sonic now and get some tater tots.
Tater. Awesome.
Let's get through this and go get some loaded tater tots.
Do it. Oh my God, loaded tots.
We can be our own Little Miss Tater Tots.
We got the crowns.
I have my own
We have our own crown.
Oh my God. Awesome. Okay. So I'm going to start with Georgia just because it's here. In Ashburn, Georgia, which I don't actually know where that is, towards the end of March, they have the Fire Ant Festival.
Oh, no.
And the reason why this hit my list is because I'm so fascinated. I love bugs. And I'm like, oh my God, it's a festival celebrating the fire ants.
No, we don't celebrate.
It has very little to do with the fire ant. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Okay.
It is... next year will be its 28th year of being. And... mostly it's like a carnival, but Ashburn has a sculpture in front of its Chamber of Commerce that is of a fire ant that is made of like propane tanks and other tools.
Oh, weird.
And painted red. And it's actually pretty cool, like
That
metal
is
sculpture
cool.
that they had in their Chamber of Commerce front yard. And I guess that's part of where the whole thing came from. And the fire ant itself was on Roadside America as like a tourist destination that you could pull off and go to Ashburn and see the giant fire ant.
Okay.
And so now they have the Fire Ant Festival, which, like I said, seems to have nothing to do with fire ants, but they have a fire ant mascot and they have a fire ant calling contest, which I really wanted to see a video of, didn't find.
How do you like?
I don't know.
Okay.
How would you? I mean, I think the way you call fire ants is just to stand on the ground near them.
Right.
Like,
So I know I have a fire ant story. Courtney, do you have a fire ant story from a kid?
Oh, I have it from an adult, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think
Adult
every
days.
Southerner has their fire ant
Coming back
story.
from the beach one year.
Yeah, where they've been
my
like
car, stepped in one
attacked. Yes.
with my flip flops on, and they were all up under my flip flop thongs, and I had a pattern of bites all the way up my foot, and I was screaming in pain.
Yeah. I had the rolling on the ground
Yeah, I was
oh
screaming.
shit!
fire ant.
I've had to shoot my kids with a hose before.
I was crying in bed. I almost went to the emergency room that night. I had so many bites.
Oh my God.
No, it was bad. I was screaming.
See, my mom always told me I was allergic to fire ants, and I think I don't know that I actually am. I think I might have just had a regular human reaction to fire ant
Did they
stings
bubble
when I
up
was
like
little.
boils on your feet and burst into?
I don't even remember because she's told me this since I can remember being a human being.
This happened like in the 80s, so it was kind of a walk it off situation.
Yeah, it's just like, you're fine.
You're fine.
You're fine.
You can breathe. Go ahead.
Yeah, there is no fire ant first aid apparently at this. I don't know. But, so this festival is just one of those like, hey, this is our festival name. This is our festival.
I love it.
But Georgia, I would say Georgia, y'all might need to step it up a little bit with the weird festival stuff, because this is one of the ones that shows up on a lot of lists. And I'm like, that's not that weird.
It's kind of tame.
That one's not that weird.
No.
I hope I know one that's on there. There better be one on there now that I'm thinking about it.
Of Georgia's?
No, Alabama.
Okay, well, you'll see.
My hometown better be on this.
Oh, now. You get a special. We'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get there. Okay, so in Tennessee, the first one, for some reason, I just really love this one. It's not a huge festival. It's not a big thing. But Bradford, Tennessee has Doodle Soup Days in September.
Doodle Soup.
And there's this. So in the Tennessean, there's this older article by a guy named Jim Myers that goes through. It's a really good article and talks about Doodle Soup Days. And Doodle Soup is the collected drippings of a roast chicken, according to his article. But you put vinegar and hot peppers in it.
Ooh.
And so it ends up tasting kind of like hot and sour soup.
Well,
He said you serve it with, now I have to be careful here, he says, some kind of bread. Because if you're from town, you serve it with crackers. But if you're from country, you eat it with biscuits. And biscuit people say cracker people are just damn lazy. So,
well, I mean, if you're making biscuits, you're definitely not lazy.
I know, right? So biscuit people are like, cracker people are just, they're just putting their foot up. They wouldn't say damn, because this is completely made by old ladies in Tennessee at this point. A lot of younger kids in like Bradford, Tennessee don't love Doodle Soup. So it's like they tend to eat it at Christmas as when their grandmama makes it like for Christmas dinner. And some people braise the chicken in water and vinegar before they roast it. And then they make a stock out of that and reserve the dripping. Some add sugar to the soup, which some people are like, ugh. And some people add flour to thicken. And so like everybody has their kind of own way of doing things. And some folks think that the name comes from like, it's Doodle Soup. So some folks think that it comes from cockadoodle, from like a rooster's call, since it's chicken. And there used to be, I guess, or maybe there still was, like a bunch of chicken farms right along the main road there, and that they would roast them all at the same time and have like a bunch of drippings. And so they were like, this is the way that you don't waste the drippings that you get from cooking a whole lot of chicken at the same time.
So let me tell you a story about chicken farms. So if you ever down here in the South, and
again where I grew up,
you're like
constant chicken house smell.
Yeah, you driving through rancid. In the summer. I used to like have friends, and we would go places, and their dad would always say, as soon as we like the chicken house start coming up in the summertime, they're like if you got a fart, like do it now.
Oh yeah,
and nobody will know. And because like the chicken house is fixing to hit, and as soon as it hit, and I think like everybody in the car, well, especially the guys, were like trying to fart, like just because kind of deal. But
it's not even chicken houses too. Chicken houses are bad, but chicken factories are real bad too. Like the Tyson factory was stanky.
Anything.
And hog houses too.
Oh my
hog houses are nasty.
Yeah.
But yeah, so these folks had apparently chicken fat, and they thought maybe the name came from just that all having all those chickens and it being cockadoodle, whatever. Somebody said that they used to call, and this is as old as the Civil War, these recipes for doodle soup.
I believe
and
it.
So they said like maybe it was from, they used to call them doodle wagons, people who were like hucksters or trinket sellers that would just bring their wagons down the road. They would call them doodle wagons. So they thought maybe something like that. Nobody knows why there's vinegar in it. But the first official Bradford Doodle Soup Festival was on July 20th, 1980, and they made over 30 gallons of doodle soup. They have parades, singings, cakewalks. It is the traditional, Southern festival, and a pageant, dinners. But there's apparently no cook-off. And after reading this article, I wondered if like the old ladies of Bradford, Tennessee would like murder each other with their eyes if there was a cook-off. Like, I don't think you could choose one. Oh, and they have Premier Pro Wrestling, which apparently is the thing that we all have now. Every small town in the South has Premier Pro Wrestling.
Oh my God.
It's the weirdest ass thing.
Oh my God.
We're facing to get it again too. They're bringing it like into Jacksonville pretty soon for something.
That's hilarious. I never like the doodle thing kind of throws me a little bit. My grandmother used to call like little bibs and bobs. She'd call them doodads.
Doodads, yeah.
Well, Mary calls poop doodle. When a Moffy goes, she says, Moffy had a doodle. So that's all I can think of.
I wouldn't want to eat doodle soup.
I know. That is my most recent reference for it because it's what Mary always says. It's a doodle. And so that's not appealing to me at all.
No. Oh, Lord. Well, okay. So we'll move on to South Carolina here. I've got South Carolina. I've actually got two because this one I just couldn't pass up, this first one. I don't know a ton about it, but it's called the Lizard Man Stomp.
Yeah.
Because Bishopville, South Carolina, if y'all haven't listened to our entire catalog, in episode 58, Patrice talks about the legend of the Lizard Man in South Carolina. Mm-hmm. And this is dedicated to the Lizard Man.
Nice.
So they have in Bishopville like an entire festival that is.
I mean, all these towns need to embrace the cryptids.
Oh man, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, and they have a Lizard Man Stomp is a dance. So they have a dance party. They have a video presentation on the Lizard Man every 20 minutes. They invite Paranormal Society speakers to come and talk. They have everything is themed. Like all the vendors, they were like Lizard Man statues and concrete that you could put in your yard. They had Lizard Man shaped
Why
cookies.
do we not have a Lizard Man concrete statue?
I know. We should make that happen.
That's another thing. Put it on the list.
I know. That's got to be on
our
the
map
list.
that Brooke's still waiting for.
And they've got a man that wanders around in a lizard suit, a Lizard Man costume all day doing photo ops. It actually looks like a blast. It looks like the town just flies into it, and it's really fun.
Yeah. So South Carolina.
So that's
what
in
time
South
of year?
Carolina, Bishopville, and they just had it actually. I think so. I think that one was early June or mid June.
Okay. Goddamn summer festivals.
I know there are so many of these in the summer, and I was like, I don't want to go to a damn thing in the summer.
No, I want to go to the air-conditioned people of the world in the summer.
The air conditioning festival, the HVAC festival.
Yes, HVAC festival.
So I have two for South Carolina just because I didn't have a lot on the Lizard Man Fest. And this is the other one is the World Grits Festival. The World Grits Festival.
Grits. Oh, you know what? I would like to go and taste a bunch of grits.
And this is in St. George, South Carolina, which is not far from Charleston. And it happens in the spring. It happens in April.
Oh. So you just have to worry about tornadoes.
Yes.
Okay.
So this started in 1985. The manager of the St. George, South Carolina Piggly Wiggly was entertaining a broker from a grits company. Mm-hmm. And the broker made a comment about how it seems like they're constantly sending grits down to this town. And all these grits going to St. George, considering how small the town is, it seems strange. So because there was about 2,000 people who lived in the town at the time. And a week or two later, the same Piggly Wiggly manager hears the same thing from a different grits manufacturer. And he's like, this is odd. So he sends a note or gets in touch with the owners of Piggly Wiggly, of the Piggly Wiggly. They were like, you know what, we'll do a little research. And as it turns out, the people of St. George actually eat more grits, or did at the time, per capita than any other place in the world.
Whoa.
Wow.
So they were like, we are the champions.
We love grits.
And so they started the World Grits Festival. And so one of the owners of the Piggly Wiggly was the chairman. And so they started it in 1986. And it's a weekend-long celebration. At this point, they get to where they have nearly 45,000 people that come to this.
Wow. It's like a big economy
pretty
boost.
big. It's a big... And that's like what a lot of these festivals are really just paying into the local economy.
Right.
And that's what like their purpose is. So some of them have like very specific things that the money from this festival will go to, whatever. Right. So they have a beauty pageant, car show. They have a hula hoop contest, art show, talent show, corn toss contest, wheelbarrow contest. And for years, they had a competition called the Rolling in the Grits competition, where they took an inflatable kiddie pool and they filled it with grits. And
dry grits?
They can cooked grits. And so there was an article that I read in 2015. Yeah, there was an article I read in 2015. Now they don't do this. They stopped this at COVID because they were worried about safety. They said, but in 2015, this article about it said there was a guy who was filling the pool and he said, when this gets done, it's going to be between 2,500 to 3,000 pounds of grits. It's going to be had about 700 pounds of dry grits and close to 300 gallons of water. And so the way it works is you would get on the scale and get weighed, and then you get in the grits and they pull you back out and they weigh you again. And whoever has the most grit weight that's added on them is the winner.
That's hilarious.
So then in 2015, a woman named Tiffany McGurr set a new record by gathering 66 pounds of grits in her 10 seconds in the pool, because everybody's limited to 10 seconds.
I wonder how big her boobs are.
She said you got to wear big clothes with duct tape. You got to grits it up, she said. 66 pounds. So they stopped it entirely during COVID. But this past year, they said that it was replaced by something called sliding in the grits. And I don't know what that was. I couldn't find any videos. That's what I was like, I think it's got to be a slip and slide of grits.
I mean, that's easy to figure out.
So, but I don't know. How's it a competition? How do you win? Do you
how
go
fast?
Do you go more fast?
Go like the longest.
And how is it safer than rolling in the grits if you're all going down the same slip and slide?
Have multiple slides. I don't know.
Maybe you have multiple slides.
You're racing.
I have questions. I don't know.
We do have questions.
So that's the World Grits Festival in South Carolina.
I don't want to wear grits, but I like if there's like some jalapeno grits, or like some grits with sausage.
And there are,
cheese,
of course, there are grits that are served at this thing.
Grits.
Of course. But I didn't. That wasn't one that I got all the recipes for. Now there are several others that I have recipes for. So the next one is the North Carolina Pickle Fest, which is in Mount Olive, North Carolina,
which is where the pickles are made.
Home of Mount Olive Pickles. That happens in March. This one has been going since 1923.
Ooh, I should go to this one.
I know.
I should too.
They give out free Mount Olive pickles. They have like art stuff, the pickle murals. They have a pickle train. They have a 5K, the Tour de Pickle bike race.
I ain't doing any running.
A pickleball tournament.
Pickle eating.
Pickleball. A pickle packing challenge.
Oh, I can do that.
And then they have a race with the pickle mascot. And they also have a pickle eating contest. And they have a recipe contest.
I want
like a pickle cocktail contest.
Well, they have beverages as a category in the recipe contest. So there's
all right.
There's a winner in all 4 categories: appetizer, main dish, dessert, and beverage. And for your prize, you get a year's supply of Mount Olive pickles.
Yay!
Which is maybe not Courtney's year's supply of pickles. It'd be maybe a normal person's year's supply.
I don't know, because I just want a month, because that is not enough.
I know, that's not enough.
Unless maybe the big ones.
So winning recipes from this year's competition were Mount Olive dill pickle donuts with dill pickle frosting, pork pickle pepper Salisbury steaks, and creamy dill Alfredo linguine.
Okay, I could deal with that. I don't know about the pickle donut.
I was weird about the pickle donut. Creamy pickle spring rolls with pickle peanut sauce.
Okay.
And I could have had a V8 pickled Bloody Mary. I don't know what it does for you to call it. I could have had a V8.
I don't know, but my mouth just watered thinking about it.
But you could probably win a Bloody Mary competition. I'm just going to say.
Well, V8. I mean,
it's So that is North Carolina's pickle contest.
When is it?
It's in April.
Oh, April.
Mm-hmm. That's in April. Are you writing it down? Yeah, you got to write that down.
April Pickle Fest.
I'll be your Sue Pickle Chef.
Do you have to be a local to enter the contest?
I really would doubt it.
Yeah,
I really would doubt it. Okay, so that's the pickles, Conway, Arkansas. And this is the one that my friend Christina reached out to me about to ask the details of. And it will be a sad moment for her because there's really not a lot to report. The Toad Suck Days in Conway, Arkansas.
God almighty.
The name is the biggest thing here, though, y'all. It happens in May. It's an annual thing. So there is a Toad Suck is a name. There's like a Toad Suck Dam, I think. And Toad Suck something else, like harbor. I don't know.
I'm confused.
But they said that some think that the name came about because, this was on the water and the rivermen would go to the tavern when they were stopped in this town. And people would say they suck on the bottle till they swell up like toads.
Okay.
And so they started naming the whole river area Toad Suck.
Okay.
Other people think that there's like a French phrase that means a narrow channel, and that sounds like Toad Suck, and people just like bastardized it into English, and that's
I was thinking literal.
Where it came from. You were thinking what?
I was thinking very literal.
Oh, literal, like you suck on toads. So was I.
Me too.
And that would have been very interesting. As it is generally just carnivals, live music vendors. There is the World Championship Toad Race. But because this raises money for local scholarships, a lot of this, it's actually very sweet, like family-friendly stuff. It's got science shows, STEM exhibitions, petting zoo, lots of family events. So I have reported Toad Suck. There was actually one that I wanted to talk about in Arkansas that used to be the Purple Hole Pea and Rotary Tilling World Championship races that were co-located. But the people who used to sponsor it was like sawblade.com used to sponsor the Rotary Tilling World Championships. And they pulled out apparently this past year. So now it's just purple hole pea shelling in a church. So it's not as interesting. It's not
like
happening
any church
that way
in the
anymore.
South.
But
right.
you know what I will say for them, purple hole pea shelling is no joke. And they have competitions with beginner and advanced levels. It's if you've ever done it, man.
I was going to say they had so many purple whole peas at the farmer's market yesterday, and I didn't want to have anything to do with them.
I've shelled them. I have shelled that shit, and it takes you an age.
I watched so much hee-haw shelling purple holes.
Have you ever had your fingers turn all purple from
purple hole peas?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so next we're in Alabama, and of course, 5 UFO Days is the first one that I have to. And I'm not going to get in deep to it because we've already talked about it. I will point you to our very second listener lore that we've ever done, that in which Courtney talks in detail about Fife and the background of the UFO Days. It happens the last day in August, and this year it is August 26th, and I think we should go.
I think we should go.
Oh, absolutely.
So I've already put it on the calendar.
Okay, good, because I put it on my personal calendar, but not on my group calendar.
No, I put it on my personal calendar.
Yeah, so you guys hopefully have heard Courtney talk about all the UFO lore in Fife, Alabama, and we've talked about it a couple different episodes too, not even just that one. But as we reported in those episodes, UFO Days, even though they have little UFOs on all of their posters and stuff, is mostly like a hot air balloon festival and a local community carnival. So it's not like as UFO is, we might want it to be.
Right. Not as strange, but more like a family festival.
Yes. But we still have to go.
Oh, I know. They do hot air balloons.
Yeah, it's a hot air balloon festival. Yeah. Which is pretty cool.
Afraid to do it.
You should do it. We should do it. My grandma did it when she was 92.
My mom did it years ago in one of the first ones.
We should do it. But we can all die together.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. I'm the only one that's not afraid.
I'm afraid.
Yeah. Me too.
I might do it.
I mean, I'll do it. It's just like I don't trust anybody to know what they're doing to do it. Just kind of
Maybe they'll just keep us tethered to the ground.
Yeah.
No, they let you go fly around.
There's somebody with us that steers, though, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
As long as I have a parachute.
You don't get a parachute. The balloon is your parachute.
We get to see from the aerial view like the UFOs did.
Yes. And then we will live stream it on August 26th. I think we should. You can't get internet enough to live stream it.
We can. We've got enough.
So that's, but the other one I have from Alabama, since we've already talked about UFO Days, is the Rattlesnake Rodeo in Opp, Alabama.
Okay.
Which happens in March. This happened for more than 60 years.
Yeah.
Op is between here and like Panama City Beach. So it's down. And it was started by a man named J.P. Jones who facilitated a rattlesnake roundup because he's tired of his hound dogs getting murdered by rattlesnakes when they were out hunting.
Oh.
And so him and other people who had hound dogs went and rustled up all these rattlesnakes. And then they figured, well, why not 2 birds, 1 stone, put them on a show, do Rattlesnake Rodeo. And so what they do now is they, all the same stuff, carnival games, live music. They had Oak Ridge Boys a couple of years ago. So it's kind of a big deal in Op, but they have snake shows, snake races, snake safety presentations. And these are big ass snakes, y'all. These are they get the big rattlesnakes.
I wonder how many people get bit every year at the Rattlesnake show.
I doubt very many. It looks like they're extremely safe.
Would they tell us the truth?
Maybe not. So. But there was a maybe not the brightest bulb news anchor that I watched talk about this. It was like, do you get to handle the snakes? And the lady in charge was like, no. Do you get to pet the snakes? No, you don't. You don't get to do that.
Rattlesnakes, sir.
Next is the Louisiana Giant Omelet Festival.
Oh, yeah.
I love some omelet now.
So that's a November one. This year's will be in 2023, November 4th and 5th. This is in Abbeville, Louisiana. And this is the 5,000 egg giant omelet celebration.
What?
So apparently Napoleon and his army in France were traveling and decided to rest at this place in near the town of Bessières. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But the innkeeper made him an omelet the next day, and he ordered the townspeople to gather all the eggs in the village and to prepare a huge omelet just like the one he had just had to serve his entire army the day after that. And so that started, instead of a revolution, tradition, like, you took all my eggs, goddammit, Napoleon.
Hate your army.
But it became a tradition to feed the poor of a village at Easter with a giant omelet in this town. And so it's like it's like a tradition, and it's called the confrérie. It's like a brotherhood sort of like friendship
thing. How do you
thing.
flip that omelet?
I have no idea.
I can't flip a 2-egg omelet.
We'll have to watch a video. I have no idea because it's really big. So apparently, I know, right?
Very giant spatula.
They told the story of how this little town, Abbeville in Louisiana, got into this tradition. There's a lot of like Louisiana roots, of course, in France and everything. But someone came to this woman with the idea of creating this confrérie in Louisiana. And so in 1985, 3 members of the Chamber of Commerce of Abbeville went to the Easter Omelette Festival in Bessières, France. And then they were knighted chevaliers or chefs of Abbeville. And they returned home to decide that they needed to do this giant omelet thing every year. So there's like 7 different areas across the world that do this every year. There's one in France. There's 2 in France. There's one in, I don't even know what New Caledonia is. There's one in Canada. There's one in Belgium. There's one in Argentina. And there's one in Louisiana.
Wow.
People come from these other festivals to this place every year to do this giant omelet festival. It's like a whole big international thing. And so they go to their Concord Street, which is like their main square is Magdalen Square, and they put out all these 5,000 eggs to make a giant Cajun omelet every year. And it's called the Omelet of Friendship. So they cook the omelet on Sunday, but there's like art show, food, live music, and everything like that. And then they give the omelet out to everybody who wants to come.
Nice.
Omelet. Giant 5,000 egg omelet, which I don't know how they flip.
No, I'm looking it up right now to see if I can find videos.
Mississippi has some. The one that I did was the Slug Burger Festival from Corinth, Mississippi. And Patrice is like, yep. That one's in July.
Never been, but I've heard about it.
Have you ever had a slug burger?
I have not.
So do you know what a slug burger is, Courtney?
No.
Okay. So I didn't either.
I don't think I want to, though.
I know, right? In 1917, there was a guy named John Weeks from Corinth, Mississippi, who was making and selling burgers out of a cart on bicycle wheels. And he wanted to save a little money, so he started mixing potato flakes and flour into his ground beef and making it that way.
Okay.
So they think that the word slug burger came because they sold them for a nickel, and a nickel was called a slug, so it was slang.
Okay, that's much better.
Yeah.
Potato burger sounds a lot better than slug.
Some people call them dough burgers.
Okay.
But so now they use soybean grit I don't know if they still use potatoes generally or not. I'm sure there may be some flour in it and stuff. Yeah, you just put mustard, dill pickles, onions, and put them on a little bun. And they're like famous in Corinth as these little slug burgers as famous things. So they started the festival in 1988. And it's got all this stuff, including the Slug Idol talent competition, live music, car show, carnival. Those things, you guys get the picture. That's the way it always
Southern,
is, right?
Like you have to have that if it's actually going to be
car show, carnival, live music. Yeah,
a festival in the South. Yeah, it's like required.
Exactly,
it's part of the code.
West Virginia has the Roadkill Cook-Off and Autumn Harvest Festival. Gosh. In Marlinton, West Virginia, it's September every year. Miss Roadkill pageant is part of this. There's a prize for the winner of the People's Choice favorite dish. They invite food people to come and just make their roadkill specials. The first place gets $1,200 cash prize, $450 for second, $225 for third. People do up their teams and their tables with camouflage and hillbilly themes, and weird names like PCB Buckbusters. The rules say it doesn't have to be actual roadkill, and the judges would prefer if it was not actual roadkill. But it has to be something you'd commonly see dead on the side of the road.
Oh, like armadillo burgers.
Yeah, and it has to be cooked on site. So they'll go through and they'll like inspect everybody's meat to make sure it's not pre-cooked before they start.
Right.
They've had fried venison wontons, snapping turtle stew, teriyaki marinated bear, squirrel gravy over biscuits, venison chili, rabbit Alfredo, iguana tacos. Now I was like, that's not North Carolina, but and names like Bambi's Revenge, Drunken Deer in the Headlights, and Hillbilly Mardi Gras Alligator and Turtle Gumbo.
My God.
Florida has the Fantasy Fest in Key West in October, and I was like, I want to go to there.
Ooh,
it started in 1979 because there wasn't that much tourism in October at the time. So they were just started, like local businessmen got together and were like, we'll do a costume parade. We'll do a little party in October and that'll be the thing. Now it's a 10-day event. It has more than 60 parties, costumed marches, parades, street fairs, balls, and the big Fantasy Fest parade in Key West. It's adults only. And it brings in 75,000 people a year.
Let's do it.
Costumes at all times are requested. Drag shows, body painting, art shows, historical exhibits, stage plays and musicals, king and queen competition, pool parties, parades, a zombie bike ride, a beard contest, the kinky carnival, and tons more on the 10-day schedule.
Oh my God.
I know. There's so much. There's so much at that one. So I was like, yeah, that one's awesome. I was Florida.
I don't know. What's the temperature though in Florida in October?
It's still good. It's nice down there.
Yeah,
it'll be nice.
Okay. 65, 70.
I went in December and it was cool.
October and February are beautiful times to be in Florida.
Okay.
Generally, like,
South Florida will still be warm.
Because like if I'm like zombie bike riding, I don't want to be like, swamp ass.
Yeah, I'm swamp ass whenever I'm on a zombie bike ride.
Nice.
I think we should do that. We should go.
We totally should, man. October. Well, my kid's birthday is in October. I'm always like doing kid stuff in October. It's Halloween.
So what?
Oh my gosh! You're saying no.
Did you see the
You're
look
sitting
that
here
she
saying
gave
no
me
because your
like,
kid has one
no.
day that is their birthday in the same month.
Special.
One day.
One day. They're going to be, they're going to be 16 this year.
One day. Is it the same?
When's the festival date?
It's all the birthday of the child is all 10 days of this festival. It sounds like.
Oh, that's true. There are 10 days of this festival. That's true.
I was like, what are you saying?
Maybe it goes over fall break.
And what? You'll take them as adults only?
No, it's adults only. No, I just meant actually, I don't know what I meant with that because that makes it harder.
I know. I was like, wait a minute. We should skip New Orleans and go to Key West.
Do both.
I'll do both. I just didn't think y'all would.
I'll do both.
Well, that is awesome. That is one weird festival for every state.
Nice.
I have billions more we could keep on talking about if we want to on the B-side. And there's other stuff we can talk about on the B-side. But
awesome. But check out our website, thestrangesouth.com, if you want to list and days of any of these strange, wonderful Southern festivals.
And let us know which ones you might have been to or have heard of or want to know more about.
Or
and
have
we will
pictures
see if we can,
of.
Yeah. And we'll see what we can do.
Send it. Well, thanks y'all for listening.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
The theme is uniforms and unicorns, 200 years of sailing into fantasy.